Now, I've done many videos over the topics of people claiming to be reporters, many people talking about the subjects over a celebrity who has passed on from this. Now, I just also want to be completely clear and put this straight forward that this video will not be monetized because it's something very straightforward and serious that I want to talk about for the instances. And I know some celebrities that I've actually heard about have passed away from that instance. I have not made my topics over them that much because that's how much I wanted to keep my respect from them. So I did not want to just talk about it like everyone else would as a trend or anything, because I know there's some people who would just take advantage of that and try to make money from it. So this is not one of those sort of things. So before we get on to the basis of what we're talking about here, I just want to piece together a little bit of some history between some of these things, between people who claim they're reporters or people who have actually been in the reporting industry, we're also going to be connecting the dots here a little bit from the sort of actions. And this is just me theorizing here, and this is just me giving my own personal opinion. It is not based upon anything objective here. It's completely subjective. The only thing that's objective about it is their actions that they so forth said. So being that if it was connected, which I completely doubt it is, but even if that was the case, that would be still a subjective matter. So why don't we just start with the YouTubers itself, which it came to from certain ones. There's not really one that I really remember, but when it came to the whole Ryan Dunn situation, ever since when he got into his accident, there was one person who decided to actually, put ads on the video, which everyone was pissed off about. Some people were telling certain audiences to go and flag his video down for those certain instances. So we kind of fast forward into Andy Griffith. That could have been before or after the fact of Ryan Dunn. Kevin Kraft from Kraft Nation decides to exploit that video for monetary gain. Now, bear in mind, I'm not saying this and to throw anything into anyone's face. This is just me kind of reviewing some history here. Then we're going to fast forward a little bit here. Of course, we've had some other deaths as well, so we're going to fast forward a little bit to today. So after shocking amounts of history that has gone on with WWE itself, hence why you kind of see me wearing this, and yes, I am wearing a John Cena wristband, sue me. His name is Mr. Don't Gives a Fuck a Lot. But enough of me just stuttering and all that and stalling. So let's just connect between the history of today and what's going on right now. So apart from 2 days ago, after getting home from work, I met a celebrity actually at where I worked about 2 days ago. I was very happy. I was very, shocked. Don King, who was actually the promoter of boxing and also the promoter that actually helped Mike Tyson grow his reputation to where it is, actually came to our store and I got to help him out. And I was so super excited and I was happy. Which at the same time at that day is that, my dad saying, okay, there's where Mars was and there's where, you could see like Jupiter and all that, because it was actually at that same time because he was looking through the stars, and that was the same time I was looking directly at the presence of Don King at my store. So I come back to the house, I flip on Facebook, and then I hear about a famous wrestler by the name of the Ultimate Warrior. So if none of you are familiar with who the Ultimate Warrior was, he was basically one of the legends of WWE, which you could go back to WWF in that instance beforehand, with other legends like Andre the Giant, and he also actually had, Randy Savage, which Randy Savage also, I could be wrong, I think he was also passed on as well, but like with other wrestlers, you had Eddie Guerrero, you also had Chris Benoit, and I know controversially people despise him from his actions, but there's something about that I'm kind of missing there with that part, so. But I heard about the Ultimate Warrior and also heard about the events about Undertaker losing to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, which puts a lot of shock on a lot of people, or lots of reactions to that. Sorry, I'm just going to try to word my stuff out a little bit more carefully because I get the feeling I could be ripping off someone. And I'm not saying that in a smart mouth, sarcastic way, so I'm really trying to keep this in a, my own style here. But most grimly enough, after learning about the Ultimate Warrior's death, two certain things did kind of piss me off in that instance. I had a certain friend who was talking about how it irritated him so much that he had to keep hearing about it, and I told him it was kind of a dick move of you to do that, so I suggested you probably might want to phrase out what you said better. Didn't really piss me off that much, but it was that much to, you know. But, so now we move on to the next day, and now we hear about, well, 2 days after, or maybe the day after, because I came home that day and I learned about it. So now we actually go on to this little scenario now, which involves a Nancy Grace, if that's her name. Basically, Nancy Grace, the reporter, has actually made the report that basically drug use was involved in his death of the Ultimate Warrior. Problem, though, is that no sources, no evidence, and no leads have actually escalated to this, and nothing has been officially confirmed, nor has the evidence actually suggest otherwise, because it's still in the process. They still have to examine what went wrong with the functions of his body as well, and nothing has been ultimately proven. So it's just giving me to baffle my mind from the connections here. So what I'm going to be connecting from people who claim as reporters, and just like DJ Keemstar with the Take Shot Action thing, and with Kevin Craft Nation with Andy Griffith, and with other people and with such and such, with claiming with sources, and this is what I define a little bit differently from the YouTubers, such as from the real life media. From people who claim they are reporters, I will get to that here in a minute, but I want to get more into the reality of how the actual media is. And Undertakerfreak1127 did actually prove this, and not really prove, but more made sense of this from his own perspective. That they base it a little bit more upon they pick it from something and they throw it on there. It's like they copy and paste it, just because they see it from a source, the first thing that they see from a website, they throw it out there, but they don't examine the points. They don't examine. They don't take the time to at least think for themselves to why it is. And for this Nancy Grace to go on this, and basically it's just like what one of my managers told me about. It's just an hourly pay. The only thing I think she might be just doing it for, other than what UTF would say for her own agenda, but more, in fact, I think she's mostly just into that she doesn't care for anyone else. She's only out for her own gain. That's what I think. She's only out for her own gain, and nothing else is anything that actually has any emotional tie to it, or that she has at least a heart for it. She's only out for her own gain. And I've seen tweets about this that really kind of stirred up a lot of people, and a lot of people connected to them. And yes, you could even go look for yourself on Twitter and all that. And I've seen a Twitter post that actually called Nancy Grace out, calling her a whore and all that shit. I was surprised enough myself. When I saw the post, I was confused at first. I was wondering why, and a lot of people saying, "Oh, it's a virus and all that." but the virus part was actually a joke. It's actually Nancy Grace. But what I really figured out was, when that video was made, no sources were made from Nancy Grace. From all this, nothing was proven. It was just, that's it. No, okay. Instead, basically it was just all theoretical nonsense and bullshit. It's like saying you shoot first and then you ask questions later. But instead, you gotta ask the questions first before you get the answers. But instead, we kind of we reversed. But in the more sense and the more of the media type, you actually film what you say happened, and then after the fact, then you change that shit up, which is complete fucking bullshit. And I can feel the same way. And from what UTF is speaking, despite, our most likely of a fallout, I do kind of agree with him that this is just complete nonsense and horseshit, and she does need to actually shut the fuck up about it if she can't provide the sources or the evidence or the materials to actually build together that conclusive structure of an answer. There's no answer to it. It was just fucking theoretical. It's just something you picked up out of nowhere, and you threw it on there expecting everyone to just follow and believe you. Or just to see it and just to fill up your own wallets with cash. That is the problem with people. Greed. Greed is what runs them. Not the caring of facts or anything. As long as you're making that dough right there, that's just what I think. And I'm not stating that as actual factual evidence, because mostly I can just pinpoint this right now is that she didn't take the time to even think about the situation. But what I think about her is that this was the only thing on her mind, and that she was only looking out for herself. And John even said this, or UTF has actually stated this herself, it was for her own agenda. And so, but I have my own kind of thoughts, and I think she's just more into that than anything else. So that's all I have to say, and it really pisses me off. Now, there's a lot of celebrities that I didn't get to mention on that, and I want to be respectful for any that I can actually remember that have actually passed on. But the reason why I don't talk about this to the public and to make videos about it is because I don't want to be part of this little trend, ironically and kind of contradictory for what I'm saying, because I'm talking about it right now. But I just think it's just fucking horseshit of this. If you're not going to take the time to think about it and just make money or exploit or just defame and I'm just saying this in general, slander someone, something after their death, and if you can't even prove it, and you're giving someone, fans, family, and everyone else, even acquaintances for that matter, a hard time about this, then holy shit, you need to really, really think about what you're saying before you start, claiming you know what you know. But that's the time I have. That's all I'm just going to put it to, so the derogatory of it is what it is. Have evidence, have factual evidence, have the truth for the people, rather than just picking up stuff from sources that give you no help, no structure at all, and throwing it out there. Or, in other words, for media, social media, or the media itself, they need to learn some fucking patience and understandment and a fucking brain. Night.